Joined now by Sir Ed Davey, who is the leader of the Liberal Democrats. Great to have you on the show.
Good morning.
This morning. I want to start on Lord Mandelson. Police now looking into whether they should investigate formally these claims that he leaked sensitive government information to Jeffrey Epstein, a man who was a billionaire and a paedophile. I mean, what is your reaction to this?
I think we're all completely shocked. It's jaw-dropping, these emails. And it's absolutely right, the police investigating. I think they'll probably have to do a formal investigation, a criminal investigation. I mean, the evidence is pretty stark. For someone right at the top of government to be leaking on a daily basis really serious issues, that's why I actually think, yes, he should obviously be stripped of his peerage, there should be a criminal investigation. I think in due course we need a national inquiry, a public inquiry into the impact on national security and indeed British victims of Epstein. I think we've got to get it to that level. The fact that a Deputy Prime Minister, the Secretary of State for Business, should be able to do this, and then it not being known about in Whitehall, so he's appointed to the Ambassador of the United States, it's quite extraordinary.
But on that appointment, the US Ambassador, and what Number 10 will say is they weren't aware of the full extent, which is correct, which is true.
Yeah,
the person who pushed for that appointment was Morgan McSweeney, the Chief of Staff to the Prime Minister. Does he need to lose his job over this?
Well, I think Labour MPs will be absolutely furious. Many of them blame Morgan McSweeney for the many failures of this government, the failures to tackle social care and health, to make such bad economic judgments, and the general failure of this Labour government. And I think the fact that Morgan McSweeney appears to have been Peter Mandelson's biggest champion and have pushed for his appointment raises even more serious questions about his future. Obviously, it's up to the Prime Minister and the Labour Party, but I know what I'd do.
And what would you do?
It wouldn't be in my employment.
The thing about this story is I feel like for many people, they'll look at it and it will confirm what they have believed all along, that there is a set of elites within Westminster, politicians, the media too probably, who don't think the rules apply to them, who care about money, who care about influence and treat other people differently. Are they right?
Yeah, well, I think that problem is huge. Public's distrust in our institutions, in our democracy even, is at levels I've never seen before. And this just makes it worse. That's why we have to take this so seriously. I've called for this public inquiry, but I think we should go further. The Lords has to be reformed. I mean, we should be able to strip peerages, from the Baroness Moans of this world, and obviously to...
So you want legislation to go through to allow that power to happen? Is that what you want to say?
Absolutely. I mean, I want to see a broader reform of the House of Lords, and indeed a reform of our politics. Whether it's our electoral system, or the way the Commons works, is so much. If we're going to restore public trust, those sorts of political reforms have to happen. And by the way, we need government to do its job properly. One of my real concerns about this Labour government, they were voted in for change after a disastrous period of Conservative government, particularly changing on our economy, on the health service, and they failed. And, we, as Lib Democrats, are the only ones putting forward a clear plan about how you rescue our NHS with our policies on care and on the economy. And, unless people see democracy and government delivering for them, they're going to lose trust.
On that, you talk about your platform. I have to say, I did note a Guardian article, a couple of weeks ago, where they spoke to some Lib Dem MPs who want you to be much braver, more forceful. Just to read some of the quotes, we need to have a development of a national story for the party to tell. It's not good enough. At the moment, it feels a bit like gruel. Ed needs to be mindful that it won't take much more for colleagues to become really frustrated. Are there a bit of grumblings on your own side that you're not punching through enough?
Well, listen...
You're like the fourth party now.
Opposition is always frustrating, particularly at this stage in the Parliament, and particularly when the government is doing so badly. But we are the only party with plan. People understand that. On the economy, we're the ones with a customs union proposal to grow our economy.
Fourth, you haven't, Reform are the ones who are grabbing all the headlines, right?
Let me deal with that.
Bumping along.
Let me deal with that. I actually feel a moral responsibility on me to win because of people like Reform. We are facing a real threat from Reform and probably propped up by the Conservatives, some sort of coalition of chaos on the hard right. which either would undermine our democracy. I feel a moral responsibility to beat that. And if you look at the seats we can win, they're the seats that would stop Reform and the Conservatives. So we have a moral responsibility to win. The last election, we got our best result for 100 years with 72. We've been winning at local elections. So last May, for the first time ever, Sophie, we beat both Labour and the Conservatives at a set of local elections. And last year, which party won more council by-elections? This is really important. Which party won more council by-elections than anyone else? It was the Liberal Democrats. My game is winning because we have a moral responsibility.
The only reason I'm interrupting is because I know we're about to go off air, and I asked viewers for some questions that I really want to squeeze in. Kieran says, who's more dangerous to the country as a potential leader, Zach Palansky or Nigel Farage?
I don't support either of them. Farage would absolutely undermine our democracy. I think Zach Palansky would take us to quite a left
So
wing.
who's the most dangerous?
Well, I want to stop Nigel Farage more than anything, and I've made that really clear. Nigel Farage represents a politics which would divide our country in a horrible way.
We're out of time. Thank you very much indeed, Ed Davey. Good to have you on the show.